Hey guys, I'm Victor and welcome to another episode of Soccer Fan Perspective. This episode focusing on MLS Week 2. Now, I'm a little bit under the weather, so I apologize if anything distracts you apart from this video. Anyways, starting with the first game, which was last Friday, which was the Houston Dynamo versus Orlando City FC. Now, I was interested in this game, particularly for Orlando City FC. They're obviously a new expansion team, and so I wanted to see more from them. I didn't get too much of a view during the last game because New York City FC was under the same situation where they were an expansion team, and thus I didn't think that the game lived up to the expectations, and I didn't see much from either team. Now on this game in particular, I actually thought that the Houston Dynamo had an upper hand for the beginning of the game, and Tyler Derrick actually thought should have won Player of the Week last week for his performance. This week, though, he almost managed to replicate his form except for that blunder in the middle of the game. Now, I originally thought it was Ribeiro's goal, but looking closely, you can see that Tyler Derrick actually managed to punch the ball in, so that's an own goal for him. And hopefully, this won't hurt his confidence too much, and I hope to see him in the next game. I don't think Coyle will replace him for Willis. I think this is just one of those instances where crap happens, and so I hope to see him in the next game. Speaking of the next game, going on to Saturday, the first game there being Chicago Fire versus the Vancouver Whitecaps. Now, the Chicago Fire, I'm very worried about them. They seem to be continuing their bad run of form from last season, and you can chalk it up to a lot of player and personnel switches. Now, there's a lot of new players coming into this system, and they're going to need time to gel. However, this is something that will probably frustrate the fans, and I honestly don't rate Frank Yallop highly. He had his moments back a couple of years when he was coaching San Jose and even the Los Angeles Galaxy. However, I'm not sure he's adjusted to this new MLS, so to speak. And then the Vancouver Whitecaps, which are on the opposite side of the spectrum, are actually a very interesting team to watch. I like what Carl Robinson has been doing with the team, and it's plays and games like these where you can see the quality that they have, and you can potentially see them clinch maybe that fifth or sixth playoff spot. After that game came the Columbus Crew versus the Toronto FC game. Now, I actually thought this was a well played match, especially at the very beginning of the game. Both teams seemed to match up nicely, and everything was going well until that red card for Toronto FC. Now, my original thoughts on the foul, I thought it was a foul, and I thought it was at least a maximum, I should say, a yellow card. But obviously, the ref gave the red card, and after looking through the replay, I can see why he played the red card because I believe the Toronto FC player was the last man, and so in theory, he should have gotten a red. Although I would have been happy with the yellow, and some people might debate that it shouldn't have been a foul at all. So it depends on your perspective. That's just my 2 cents. And then Kai Kamaro's goal, and should I say goal celebration, he is obviously the king, and I hope to see more goals from him so he can treat us with more of his unique and classy celebrations. Now going on to the next game, which is the FC Dallas versus Sporting Kansas City Sporting Kansas City game. This was a game where FC Dallas managed to win, and I don't want to say it was overwhelming on their part. They managed to get the win, and that was that. I didn't think they did well enough for a 3-1 victory, especially after seeing the out of position goal from Blas Perisip, which I believe was the second goal coming. And in theory, that could have affected the rest of the game, but I think it was more the part that Sporting Kansas City just seems to be in a slump at the moment. I'm not sure what's going on. Their their bad form has seemed to continue from the second half of the last season, and so Peter Amis has to do something. I'm not sure what it is, but it's not working, and it's weird to see considering they've been such a strong team these last 3 to 4 years. And next, going on the next thing, which was the Real Salt Lake Philadelphia game. Now, speaking of teams that seem to be in a slump, RSL is another team that seems to be in a slump, but I would argue that it's because they're changing their identity. We're so used to seeing them play the 4-4-2 diamond, and now they're actually switching to a 4-3-3, which personally I believe will benefit certain players more on that team, especially with Olmes Garcia coming on on the wing, and hopefully when Joe Plata comes back, that will just solidify the team even more. However, at this moment, it's just growing pains for them, and it's weird to see specifically from the Philadelphia Union. And some Philly fans might get annoyed by me, but I kind of rate them, or I don't rate them as much, and it's weird for me to say because I like what the Philadelphia coach is doing right now, and I wish I remembered his name, but I'm drawing a blank here, so I apologize for that. I like what he's been doing, and I like the message that he basically tells his players, and the way they play seems to reflect his personality. And it's performances like these, getting victories in tough places to play, like Rio Tinto, that you do wonder that what maybe they do have enough and do have what it takes to clinch a playoff spot, maybe even the last two spots available. Now, going on the last game for Saturday, which was the Seattle Sounders versus the San Jose Earthquakes. Now, this was a upset, and I actually thought that this was going to be an easy game for Seattle Sounders, especially when they open up with a goal in the first 20 seconds of the game. But obviously, Wando and the San Jose Earthquakes had other ideas in mind. Now, there's a saying that goes, never doubt Dom Kinnear, and with games like these, you can see why people would say that. Now, Dom Kinnear isn't exactly the flashiest coach. He isn't going to wow you with his attacking style of play, so to speak, and creative play, but he gets the job done. He knows what to do, and he does it. And that's how he gets these results in playing in difficult places like CenturyLink Field. And so hopefully we will see more of this, and he'll be able to propel San Jose to a playoff spot. Now, going on the last two games of this week, the first one on Sunday being the New York City FC versus New England Revolution. Now, I'm not a big fan of baseball fields used for when soccer is played on baseball fields. Excuse me, but in this instance, it worked. I think it was mostly the fan presence there, and you can see the excitement coming from them and the city itself. And luckily, they were treated to a victory. Now, I believe David Villa finally got the service that he lacked during the last game and managed to score one goal and to provide an assist for the second one to Patrick Mullins, who, in my idea, celebrated a little too much, but I don't think it was in the to disrespect the New England Revolution. I just think the atmosphere, the passion, and the moment itself overtook him, and he, celebrated off of joy. As for the New England Revolution, I'm very disappointed is not the word, but I'm going to use disappointed because many people peg them to be a contender to MLS Cup, and so far these last two games, you're not seeing much of it. And I think it's the connectivity. There doesn't seem to be enough service for Juan Agudelo, and everyone else seems to not be on the same page. And the absence of Jermaine Jones seems to have affected the team very dearly. Now, on to the last game, which was the Portland Timbers versus the Los Angeles Galaxy. I actually thought the Portland Timbers would win this one. The environment and their field, they're so good playing at home that I thought they would manage the 3 points. However, LA Galaxy, and particularly Alan Gordon, had other ideas in mind, and he got that equalizer late. And Alan Gordon is and I'm going to take my time here to say that Alan Gordon is such an underrated player. And underrated in the sense that not many people see him as I'm not saying quality striker, but when they think LA Galaxy, they don't think Alan Gordon. It's not because of him not being iconic. I think he's actually pretty iconic when it comes to the LA Galaxy, especially considering his interaction with Beckham in '06 and the whole book, The Beckham Experience. However, when people say LA Galaxy, you tend to think Robbie Keane and then Jesse Zardes. And typically Alan Gordon is on the lower peg of that list. But they managed to win, and Bruce Arena always knows how to get a result in tough places. So that's it for this video, guys. Thank you for watching. I will be making another video next week for week 3. And for those of you interested in FIFA career modes, please check out my other channel, SFP Gaming, where I'm currently doing a career mode with DC United. So until next time, guys, see you all later.